And hello, everybody, and welcome on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Dave Soberai on the play-by-play, bringing you all 9 innings today from El Camino College, the home field of the South Bay Sliders, a member of the Sunset League, going against the Inland Valley Pirates in a conference clash. This will be the 4th meeting of the season between these two teams. So far, the Pirates have gotten the better, winning 2 out of 3. So, as we mentioned, the 4th contest, the 5th to come tomorrow at home at Cal Poly Pomona at 6 o'clock. So certainly very, very exciting next couple of days for the Inland Valley Pirates as they take on the Sliders. As you know, they had a long layoff for exactly a week and then had a non-league game yesterday that they blew in the 9th inning. First pitch in there for strike one from Charles Carr, and we are underway here at El Camino College. Alec Patron leading off. He's the shortstop, taking high and away for ball one. And the count is 1-1. Mario Michetti, the DH, will be batting second, followed by Jonathan DeMarte and Brennan McKenzie, the cleanup hitter. Pitch misses low for a ball. Batting fifth will be Landon Marshall, the catcher, followed by Joshua Jones, Jared Anton, Hayden Wright, Justin Katz, and Quinn Cooper, as this pitch misses low and away for a ball here to Alec Patron. Patron, an SBL All-Star, lines at the second baseman. And the play will be made at second for the first out. So 1 up and 1 down here for Charles Carr, the 6'0", 180-pound right-handed pitcher out of Grinnell College in Iowa. He'll be a sophomore there next season. Meanwhile, here comes Mario Michetti. First pitch swinging, little flare out to shallow center field, and it's going to be a bloop base hit. First base hit of the day for the Inland Valley Pirates. So just like that, on one pitch, Michetti lifting it to shallow center field, and the Pirates with their first base runner. Here comes Jonathan DeMarte. Jonathan DeMarte, one of a few members from New York on this Inland Valley Pirates roster. And DeMarte was the guy who had the connections. He's the guy that hooked everybody else up. Here's the pitch from Carr. Fastball line foul down the first base line, and it's 1-0. DeMarte had the connection with somebody from Cal Poly Pomona and reached out to Charlie Reynoso, the GM, and was told that he would have a place. And he said, well, I'm not coming here unless you bring Alec Patron in, too, as the pitch misses outside for a ball. And so Patron and DeMarte came here together, and then they wound up bringing in another guy later on from Penn State, the pitcher Skylar Bates. So 3 guys here from New York playing on the Pirates this summer. Here's the pitch from Carr. Once again, low and away for another ball. And as you know, really, the 3 guys have been doing well all season long. But, I mean, I think nobody else enjoyed that week layoff more than them because they were able to go up to Northern California as he fouls this one out towards the third base line. And they were able to experience Northern California because being guys from New York, they took full advantage of that during 4th of July weekend. Caught a Giants game, caught an A's game, and then came back to be here for that, game yesterday. So a fun 4th of July weekend for all 3 of them. This pitch misses low for another ball to Jonathan DeMarte. DeMarte in a familiar spot in the lineup, kind of around that 3 or 4 spot pretty much all season long. Talented right-handed hitter out of Richmond University. Ground ball left side, could be a Taylor made double play, but the shortstop bobbles and he's going to have no play. So an error on the shortstop Landis. And the Pirates are in business here in the top of the first inning with 2 men on and 1 out. And up comes the big bat, the cleanup hitter, Brennan McKenzie. McKenzie, as you know, one of the 6 Pirates who made the All-Star game in Cal Poly Pomona a couple days ago. Let's see what McKenzie can do in his first at-bat against Carr. Left to right across the outfield, Alexades, Barba, and Sablock. Left to right across the infield, it's White, Landis, Crossman, Sahajian, as the pitch misses low and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count. The backstop behind home plate, who just blocked that previous pitch, is O'Reilly. So O'Reilly doing the catching for his starting pitcher, Charles Carr. Carr's comes set, working out of the stretch, fires a fastball. Another fly ball, straightaway center field. Easy routine grab for Noah Barber. And that'll be the second out here in the top of the first inning. So now 2 away here for the Inland Valley Pirates in the top of the first inning as Landon Marshall comes to the plate, the catcher. Well, they went from one All-Star to another All-Star. Actually, as you could imagine, in this first 5, we saw 3 All-Stars for the Pirates. And, of course, actually on the mound, starting in this game, will be another All-Star. So here comes Landon Marshall. Marshall batting .333 on the season. First pitch, breaking pitch, strike 1, the call from our home plate umpire. And it's 0-1 to Landon. Landon Marshall, 9 runs scored, 4 runs batted in on the season. The junior to be from Panola College. Another breaking pitch, strike 2. And so Marshall falls in a hole here, 0-2. Still 2 runners on board in the top of the first inning. But Marshall's going to have to protect the plate here with this 2-strike pitch to come from Carr. Fastball, little flare down the first base line. It'll get over the head of the first baseman, but drops in foul territory. And you look at the dimensions of this field, there's not too much foul territory. But one of the troubling areas in this field is right by the bullpen down that first base line. There's that kind of blue obstacle there as Sahajian had to kind of put on the brakes and had to worry about that, as well as maybe just the fence in general. Something that you don't typically have to deal with down that first base line. Here comes the 0-2. Another breaking pitch lined up the middle, but a nice backhanded grab made by the second baseman, Crossman. The second time he makes a catch on a line drive, and that'll do it for the top of the first inning. At the end of 1/2 inning, it remains a scoreless tie between the Pirates and Sliders. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
You're never going out of style. Ooh, pretty baby, this world might have gone crazy. The way you see me, who could blame me when I just wanna make you smile? I wanna throw you like Michael, I wanna kiss you like Prince. Let's get it on like Marvin Gaye, like Hathaway. Write a song for you like this. You're over my head, I'm out of my mind, thinking I was born in the wrong time. One of a kind, living in a world gone plastic. Baby, you're so classic. Baby, you're so classic. Baby, you're so classic. Oh, a dozen roses, anything for you to notice. All the way to serenade you, doing it's not style. I'ma pick you up in a Cadillac like a gentleman, bring it glamour back, keep it real to real in the way I feel. I could walk you down the aisle. I wanna throw you like Michael, I wanna kiss you like Prince. Let's get it on like Marvin Gaye, like Hathaway. Write a song for you like this. You're over my head, I'm out of my mind, thinking I was born in the wrong time.
And welcome back as we head to the home half of the first inning. And if you're watching at home and you just turned it on because it's 5 o'clock and you're wondering if I just made a mistake, no, I didn't. We got a little bit of an early start as the Sliders and Pirates were very eager to get this conference affair and to get this show on the road. Here is Charlie Verone, freshman headed to Butler. First pitch, strike 1, 0-1 the count to Noah Barber. Noah Barber, an SPL All-Star for the North Side. Here's the pitch. Check swing. Yes, he did go, says the umpire. Barber did not like the call, kind of staring for about 5 to 10 seconds after the pitch. But now he has fallen behind in a hole, 0-2 to Charlie Verone, the starting pitcher for the Pirates. Way outside ball 1. 1-2 the count. Here's what the defense looks like behind Charlie. Left to right across the outfield, it's Katz, Jones, and Wright. We'll fill you in on the infield after this next pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Down goes Barba. And that'll be the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. Left to right across the infield, you have DeMarte, Patron, Anton, McKenzie. And behind home plate, the familiar Landon Marshall. Of course, Landon Marshall has a family legacy with the Pirates. His brother Nick was on the team last season. First pitch in there, strike 1. and 1 the count for Charlie Verone. Charlie Verone had quite the All-Star game as he pitched 1 inning of shutout ball in the All-Star game, blown away. Ball 1-1 the count. Also got 3 at-bats in the game as he does pitch and also hit, as Verone is going really to Butler to be a shortstop, but he's been one of the better pitchers for the Pirates this season. Little roller down the third base line. Jonathan DeMarte tries to barehand it, and he will not be able to handle it. So it'll be an infield base hit here for Reese Alexades. So Reese Alexades, another guy who we saw in the All-Star game with the infield base hit here in the bottom of the first inning. Alexades, smart guy, headed to Pepperdine University. So he's on first as the number 3 hitter. Nick Sablock comes up for the first time today. Right fielder, left-handed hitter, going against Charlie Verone. Verone comes set, working out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. Fastball, strike 1, 0-1 the count. Verone, 5'11", right-handed pitcher. Before attending Butler, went to Los Osos High School. Number of former Los Osos High School players on the Inland Valley Pirates, including, of course, Charlie, who's on the mound, and Katz in left field. Here's the pitch. Fastball outside for a ball. So the heart of the order due up here for the South Bay Sliders. Sablock at the dish, Pasillas on deck, and Sahajian is in the hole. And so good-looking heart of the order due up for the Sliders. Let's see what Verone can do. 1-1, called strike. And so now Charlie 1 pitch away from his second out of the inning. Meanwhile, Alexades taking his lead off first. McKenzie holding him on. So, like we said, here just in this one conference game, we've already seen a lot of All-Stars. Fly ball, left center field. Katz going after it, and he's not going to get there in time. It's a gapper, and it's going to be an extra base hit. Alexades puts on the brakes at third, and it's a stand-up double for Nick Sablock. 2 runners in scoring position here in the bottom of the first inning for the Sliders, as they are looking to take an early lead against Charlie Verone. As Jonathan Pasillas, the EH today, steps up to the plate. Pasillas, a guy who we mentioned was a jack of all trades, said he could play pretty much any position, whether it be second base, outfield, catcher, or today just swinging the bat as the EH. And so obviously, as we mentioned, a utility player to the max is number 25 from the Sliders. First pitch, strike 1, 0-1 the count on a breaking pitch that paints the black on the outside corner. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the first inning, no score yet, but the Sliders are threatening with 2 runners in scoring position. Verone comes set. Here's the 0-1. Foul right back towards us. And it's 0-2. Well, as you know, as you can see, actually, really, we have a press box here today, which is a welcome sight. As Cal Poly Pomona, it's a makeshift tent that we put behind home plate. Whereas here, it's built by somebody's bare hands. They did it with wood. And it's nice and cool. Meanwhile, Verone ahead in the count. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Oh, just misses for a ball. Maybe missed a little bit off the plate outside. And it'll be 1-2 here to Jonathan Pasillas. Pasillas, another one of these juniors to be looking to find a home for his final 2 seasons. Looking to leave a lasting impression this summer. Nice block there by Marshall. We talk about those plays by the catcher. And obviously those don't show up in the box score. But Landon Marshall, with that backhanded dig, may have just prevented a run from coming home to score. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Ground ball left side right at DeMarte. DeMarte looks off the runner at second, throws the first. And that'll be the second out here as DeMarte doing a nice job charging in, keeping both the runners at second and third, and then firing a dart across the diamond to retire Jonathan Pasillas for that second out. Here comes Jake Sahajian. So Sahajian, another SBL All-Star. So we've seen 3 of them for each team in the first 5 batters. Well, that's how you know that each team has been swinging good bats so far this season. First pitch strike at the knees, 0-1 the count. Although maybe the Sliders have been swinging good sticks, they are struggling a little bit in conference play. 3-9 their record, and currently in last. The Inland Valley Pirates are at 6-6. Here's the 0-1. Line drive, left center field, and that's going to score 2. South Bay Sliders take a 2-0 lead on an RBI. Oh, he's going in for 3. RBI triple by Jake Sahajian. Meanwhile, the throw was actually offline too, but the pitcher, Verone, was there. And so just like that, the South Bay Sliders score 2 runs here in the bottom of the first inning on the 2-run triple by Jake Sahajian. And so Sahajian, he was actually a replacement, a substitution, we'd like to say, in the All-Star game yesterday, or actually that was a couple days ago. And he came in and had a couple RBIs in that game, and now a couple RBIs here in the first inning. First pitch strike, 0-1 the count here to the number 6 hitter in the lineup, Robert White. White at the dish, followed by Richie O'Reilly, should he find a way to get on base. Little fly ball, left field, straightaway left. Cat's kind of using the glove to block the sun, makes the one-handed grab, and the side is retired. But the South Bay Sliders on 3 base hits, a single by Alexades, a double by Sablock, and the 2-run triple by Sahajian take a 2-0 lead at the end of 1. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Lately, I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Yeah, we'll be counting stars. Swing my heart across the line. In my face is flashing signs. Seek it out and ye shall find. Old, but I'm not that old. Young, but I'm not that bold. And I don't think the world is sold. I'm just doing what we're told.
And welcome back as we head to the top of the second inning. Dave Soberai on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We also welcome in the audience who found this link through the Sunset Baseball League website. As Joshua Jones steps in, shows bunt, and lets it go low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Joshua Jones. So it'll be Jones followed by Anton, and then Wright. That's who's due up here for Jensen Torres. Line drive left field, but right at the left fielder, Alexades, who makes the grab for the first out here in the top of the second inning. Well, the Pirates, they've hit a few hard, but right at fielders. A couple hardly hit to the second baseman, Crossman, in the first inning, and now one out in the left field. But obviously, if you're hitting them at the position players, they're outs. This one misses low and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Jarrett Anton. Anton, a second-year member of the Inland Valley Baseball Association. Last year played for the OC Bucks as he takes a strike here. And it's 1-1 to the 5'11", 180-pound left-handed hitter out of Irvine Valley College. 1-1, swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Anton's hometown, Huntington Beach, went to Huntington Beach High School. As we were talking about last season, as a member of the OC Bucks, actually led the team in batting average at a .396 clip. Lined over towards the first baseman on the one hop, and the first baseman, Sahajian, will step on the bag for the 3 unassisted putout. And Charles Carr has now set down 4 in a row here. As up comes Hayden Wright. As you know, Hayden Wright, the right fielder for pretty much the whole season. So you could never forget that. Right. Digs in. Another second-year member of the Inland Valley Baseball Association, and takes strike one on the outside corner. 0-1 the count to Hayden Wright. Hayden Wright, 5'9", 180. Takes a ball and is 1-1. Plays for Mount Sac. Be a sophomore there next season. Little fly ball, shallow right field. Racing in after it for the routine one-handed grab is Sablock. And the side is retired in order here in the top of the second inning. So 5 in a row set down by Carr. And at the end of 1.5, it remains a 2-0 Slider lead. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. What up, Nelly? Alright. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. Yeah, when I first saw that bikini top on her, she's popping right out of the South Georgia water. Oh, good Lord, she had them long tail legs, couldn't help myself, so I walked up and said, baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise down a back road, throwing stop signs for the middle of every little hometown with you in this brand new Chevy with a lift kit. Look a hell lot better with you up in there. Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise. I got my windows down in the radio. Get your radio on. Yeah, she was sipping on Southern and singing Marshall.
And welcome back as we head to the home half of the second inning. Sliders on top by a score of 2-0. The first baseman, Jake Sahajian, had the big 2-run triple back in the first to give the Sliders that 2-0 lead. First pitch misses for ball one. 1-0 the count to the catcher, Richie O'Reilly. O'Reilly working against Charlie Verone. Verone in for his second inning of work as the pitch is fouled in the mitt of Marshall, and it's now 1-1. Well, as you know, this is the first year of the Sunset Baseball League, and every single game has a little bit more kind of importance than maybe some of the non-league games. Pitch is upstairs, ball 2, 2-1 the count. And so every game, as we mentioned, really means a little bit more. And they will play 25 total games this season. On away for another ball, 3-1 the count. And like we said, the Pirates came in today with a 2-1 record against the Sliders. But the Sliders are looking to level the series with a 2-0 lead. 5-pitch walk drawn here by O'Reilly. And the leadoff man is on board for the South Bay Sliders. Anytime you get that man on by a leadoff walk, really it raises the offense's chances drastically into being able to at least play one run in that given inning. So the South Bay Sliders hoping to do just that here in the second inning. Already ahead by a 2-0 score. Can they add to their lead as Mason Landis comes to the plate, the shortstop. Landis plays for El Camino College, so should be very, very comfortable in this batter's box as this is where he plays in the regular season here at El Camino College. Warrior Field. Verone, here's the pitch. Pitch missing low and away for a ball. Well, like we said, entering the day, also the Pirates with a 6-6 league record, as the Sliders have a 3-9 league record. And even though the teams, one is in the north, that would be the Sliders, and the other in the south, that would be the Pirates. Swing and a miss at the plate for a strike. The way the Sunset Baseball playoffs will be is that the four best records in the league overall will make it. So the two division winners automatically get in, and then the next two best records. So even though it's a north versus south battle, every single game means just as much as an interdivisional game. Meanwhile, another breaking pitch in the dirt. Another good block by Landon Marshall behind home plate to ensure that the runner didn't advance 90 feet into scoring position. 2-1 the count now to Mason Landis. Landis, the number 8 hitter at the plate, followed by Cameron Gray and Eric Crossman. That's who's due up for the Sliders. He's trying to bunt it down the third base line and is laid down to perfection. Verone, the throw, was a little bit offline as it pulled McKenzie into foul territory, but McKenzie was still able to tiptoe the bag and make the play for the first out. But Landis laying down the sacrifice to perfection. And the Sliders have gotten another man in scoring position here in the bottom of the second inning. Cameron Gray to the plate, to DH from Arkansas Baptist, wearing number 9. As we mentioned before, the Sliders in the black and green jerseys, also rocking the Sunset League emblem on their right shoulder. Nice sight. Here's the pitch. Called a strike on the inside corner. And it's 0-1 here to Cameron Gray. Pirates, of course, in their customary red shirts, black lettering, as well as black numbers. Verone checks back at second. Now comes back set. Nobody's going to be holding the runner at second base. O'Reilly on. Here's the pitch. Once again, in the dirt and away. And once again, Marshall just a brick wall behind home plate, saying nothing is getting past me. And that's the type of catcher he's been all season long for the Inland Valley Pirates. A guy that you can count on seemingly to do just that. And to be just that, to be that red brick wall. Meanwhile, another pitch misses outside for a ball. As this has been a rocky start so far for Charlie Verone. 2-1 the count. Already has allowed 2 runs. And there's another runner in scoring position for the Sliders in the bottom of the second inning, with Cameron Gray at the plate, head in the count, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of 2. Little fly ball, shallow center field. The second baseman is not going to be able to get there. Jarrett Anton tried laying out for it, but the runner at second, Richie O'Reilly, had to pause, had to hesitate because he wasn't sure if Anton would be able to get there and make the play. So instead of risking potentially an inning-ending double play, if Anton makes a crazy play and then throws it to second, he stayed closer to the bag just in case he had to get back. So now there's runners on the corners with 1 out, and Eric Crossman to the plate. Crossman from Coppin State, as we mentioned, with runners in the corners. If you're Charlie Verone, you're just thinking about a ground ball with 1 out. Might be able to get out of the inning with a ground ball. Obviously, if you're the Sliders, little fly ball to the outfield, and that's what they're going to get. Hayden Wright comes up throwing. The throw to the plate is off line, and it's a sacrifice fly, and a 3-0 lead for the South Bay Sliders. Eric Crossman comes through, and really that's just fundamental baseball. You have 1 out and a runner on third, and if you're going to make an out, you want to make a productive out, and that's what they did. Hit a deep fly ball to the outfield and score the run to take a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the second inning. So not exactly what the doctor ordered if you're the Pirates. Meanwhile, Gray's running. Pitch is called the ball at the plate. The throw down to second is not there in time and actually gets into center field. Catch could not be made by Patron. And so a stolen base and also an error allowing the base runner Gray to get to third. And now another runner just 90 feet away from scoring here against the Inland Valley Pirates. Verone peering in at his catcher's signs and likes what he sees as he comes set. Here's the pitch. Called a strike on the inside half. This is Noah Barba. Barba, the leadoff hitter, 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking in the first inning. Barba, another guy from El Camino College. Several of them on the South Bay Sliders, as you would imagine, playing at El Camino College. 1-2 the count. Another pitch coming in on the inside corner. So Barba at the plate. Cameron Gray is at third. And Reese Luxades is on deck. Here's the pitch. 1-2, swung on and missed. Strike 3, down he goes. side retired, but 1 run does come home to score on a walk, a base hit, and a sac fly. At the end of 2, it's now a 3-0 Sliders lead. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me when you hold me in your arms so tight. You let me know everything's alright. Hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Lips as sweet as candy, its taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me thirsty for another cup of wine. Got a bug from you, girl.
9-10-1 due up here for the Inland Valley Pirates. And the top of the 3rd inning. First pitch, foul tipped actually into the mitt of the catcher O'Reilly for strike 1. 0-1 the count. As you know, in Sunset League games, breaking pitch in the dirt, ball 1. 1-1 the count. In Sunset League games, you are allowed to bat 10, so that's why we have that 9-10-1 due up here in the top of the 3rd inning. Of course, the philosophy is just to allow an extra hitter to get an extra at-bat. Fly ball, right side, calling for it is the first baseman, Sahajian. He'll make the two-handed grab about 2 feet deep on the outfield grass for the first out here in the top of the 3rd inning. So just like that, now 6 in a row set down here by Charles Carr. Carr, one of the aces of the staff for the South Bay Sliders, with a 2.30 ERA on the season. First pitch just paints the black on the outside corner for strike 1 to Quinn Cooper. Cooper, a freshman to be at Cal Poly Pomona. Fastball up, ball 1. 1-1 the count. So obviously it would make a lot of sense that he would find the Inland Valley Pirates, being that, of course, the Pirates' home field is Cal Poly. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 the count. Quinn Cooper, he and really his buddy Brennan McKenzie, both headed to Cal Poly Pomona next season. Called strike 3, and down he goes. That'll be the second out here in the top of the 3rd inning. So the Pirates, after threatening a little bit in the top of the 1st, if you recall, they had 2 runners on with 1 out, and then the cleanup hitter, McKenzie, followed by Marshall at the plate. Since that point, nobody has been able to reach base. Pitch is called a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike with 2 outs to Alec Patron, who lined out to the second baseman in his first plate appearance. Line drive, left field, right at the left fielder. And for what it's worth, the Pirates a number of times today lining him up, squaring him up, but hitting him right at the left fielder a couple times and the second baseman as well a couple of times. And at the end of 2.5, it remains a 3-0 Slider lead. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. welcome back as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Dave Soberai on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us on InlandValleyBaseball.com for this Sunset League matchup, featuring, of course, the Pirates taking on the Sliders. First pitch is low and away for ball one. 1-0 the count to Reese Alexades. Alexades headed to Pepperdine University 1-for-1 with an infield single and scored. Ground ball left side, 3-hopper to the shortstop Patron, who bobbled for a second, and McKenzie can't make the grab. Well, the bobble by Patron was not the thing that ends up really mattering. It was the error at first by McKenzie, I guess taking his eye off it at the last second. Couldn't handle it, as Alexades now reaches for the second time in as many plate appearances. As we mentioned the first time with the infield single, and now this time with the error by the first baseman. And up comes the heart of the order, and Nick Sablock. Sablock is 1-for-1, doubled and scored in the first inning. Left-handed hitter going against the right-handed pitcher Verone. Pitches outside, fouled for strike one. 0-1 the count to Nick Sablock. Well, obviously for the Pirates, trailing by 3 runs here in the bottom of the third inning. Got a little bit of work to do, to say the very least. Here's the pitch. Fastball outside, ball one. 1-1 the count to Nick Sablock. Well, this lineup, for what it's worth for the Sliders, like we were talking about, you had a lot of players in this lineup make the All-Star game for the Sunset League. And although they got out to a tough start in conference play, nice breaking pitch in there for a strike, this is a team that, well, really the guy at first base right now got the chance to talk to Reese Alexades at the All-Star game, and he said they were on a 3-game winning streak and they had some positive mojo and that they were feeling good about themselves, and here they are with a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the third. Right back to that same pitch, but it must have just missed a little bit inside here for a ball to the hitter, Sablock. Meanwhile, Pasillas on deck, taking his warm-up hacks, as the runner at first, Alexades, was taking a lead, and Verone kind of paying a little bit of extra attention to him, going over to first. Meanwhile, once again checking over at first as Alexades takes his lead. High chopper down the first base line, and actually hit off the ankle, the right ankle of the hitter. So obviously called a foul ball by the home plate umpire. As we mentioned, the Pirates and Sliders will do battle for the 5th and final time tomorrow after today. And for the Sliders, obviously they're hoping to potentially even the series up and then make tomorrow, a winner-takes-all 5th game. And really what that would mean in the standings would be for playoff positioning, obviously you'd win the head-to-head tiebreaker. Obviously still a lot of baseball to be played. Called strike 3 at the plate, and the throw down to second, not in time. So stolen base by Alexades, but Sablock is called out at the plate. So like we were talking about in the playoff picture, both of these teams kind of with about the same amount of games left to be played, 13 games. So about half the season still left to be played, in league play at least, for both of these teams. But if they end up with the same record at the end of the season, it'll go to that head-to-head tiebreaker. So that's why both of these games are very important, especially for the Sliders. Late kick in the pitch. Called a strike on the inside corner to Jonathan Pasillas, and the count is 0-1. Pasillas 0 for 1 on the day. Grounded out to the third baseman, Jonathan DeMarte. DeMarte actually making a really good play on that one, if you recall. There were 2 runners on at second and third with 1 out, and he held both runners at second and third and then came up firing to first. An absolute dart. And at that point, looked like maybe the Pirates could get out of that first inning unscathed as there were runners on second and third. But the man on deck ended up coming through with a triple to left center field. And that gave the Sliders a 2-0 lead at that point. Line drive down the third base line, but foul. Pasillas was ahead of that one. Guy on deck, of course, Jake Sahajian, left-handed hitter. As Pacius will have to protect the plate, down 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Runner in scoring position is Reese Alexades, who reached on an error by the first baseman and then stole second. He's off with a pitch. The pitch is outside. Throw down to third. It's there in time. And so they got him at third, and that'll be the 2nd out as Alexades is caught stealing. Throw really beating Alexades by a mile. And so Marshall gets his man at third base for the 2nd out, as the count is now 2-2 here to Jonathan Pacius. Verone back into the windup, of course, with nobody on base here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 3. Full count. Payoff pitch to come here for Charlie Verone, working against Jonathan Pacius. Pacius, as we mentioned, another one of these guys who are juniors to be, looking to find a home for their next 2 years of eligibility. Full count pitch. Bouncer in the dirt. Ball 4. Pacius with the free pass. Heads to first. And up comes Jake Sahajian. Obviously, we were mentioning when he was on deck, he had a big triple and scored a couple of runs. Tripled to left center field. Looks like Katz is kind of shading more towards left center field this time as the number 5 hitter steps up, takes the first pitch outside. But it's actually called a strike, and the count is 0-1 here to Sahajian. As we mentioned, Sahajian with the 2 RBIs and the triple. Here's the 0-1 just outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Sliders getting 2 in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd to take a 3-0 lead. Pitch misses low and away for ball 2. 2-1 the count. Verone definitely going for that low outside pitch a lot here in this at-bat. In fact, has done that on all 3 pitches so far that he's thrown to Sahajian. This one, though, how do you like that? Comes on the inside corner for strike 2, and the count is now 2-2. So Deuce is running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of 3. Runner on first, Pacius. Little pick-off throw over there just to kind of keep him on his toes, make sure he's paying attention. Pacius didn't have too large of a lead, but Verone just trying to keep him at bay, make sure he doesn't go to second. Fly ball. In the infield, Jonathan DeMarte doesn't see it, but Trone makes a spectacular diving catch out in left field. What a play. DeMarte had no idea where it was. Katz couldn't really, I don't know if he couldn't locate it or not, but Trone on the dead run, laying out for it full extension, also had to avoid Katz, the left fielder. What a play out there, as we mentioned, in shallow left field. And that'll do it here for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Wild finish to the inning there, as it looked like a lot of the times when you see a fly ball hit out there, the shortstop will call the third baseman off anyways because the third baseman has to head directly back. But in that sequence, obviously the third baseman didn't even see it, and for whatever reason, it looked like the left fielder as well was struggling with it. But Patron comes in and saves the day, and at the end of 3, it remains a 3-0 ball game. You're watching Pirate Baseball on InlandValleyBaseball.com. This game is going pretty quickly, to say the least, so far as we enter the top of the 4th inning in a 3-0 game. First pitch swinging, Mario Macchetti to deep center field. The center fielder, Noah Barber, can only turn in and watch it bounce over his head. McKetty digging in for second and now headed to third. He will not put the brakes on at second, as that'll be a stand-up triple for the Pirates in the top of the fourth inning for the Pittsburgh State Gorilla. Of course, we mentioned a few times, you don't see too many Gorilla teams out there. And the second he arrived on the first day, Memorial Day it was, at the opening tryouts, you saw the Gorilla shirt. You're like, what the heck team does this guy play for? And then we found out that it was Pittsburgh State, which is actually in Kansas. Ground ball left side, that'll get the job done. RBI ground out for Jonathan DeMarte as the catch is made by Saad. No, Saad was not on the base, so it's going to be an error. And it'll still go down as an RBI, though, for DeMarte, because all he needed to do was get the ground out, and effectively he did do that. But, wow. It looked like Sahajian, the throw came towards the outfield side of the bag, and he was kind of straddling the base and trying to basically almost do the splits, something that actually we've seen Mario McKetty do in the past, but couldn't make the play, and it's now 3-1. And now McKenzie hit by a pitch. And just like that, all of a sudden, the Pirates kind of out of nowhere with a little bit of a rally here in the top of the fourth inning. First three runners reach base. The big one was by McKetty, the triple over the center fielder Barba's head. Then the error, Jonathan DeMarte reached on. And now on the first pitch to Brennan McKenzie, he's hit by a pitch, takes one for the team. And up comes Landon Marshall. Landon Marshall 0 for 1, lined out to the second baseman. Good play made by Crossman, if you remember, as it was hit very hard. He made a nice backhanded grab. First pitch to Marshall in the dirt for ball one. 1-0 the count. The score 3-1. Meanwhile, the catcher didn't know where the ball was, and Carr hustling in to find it just in case DeMarte thought about going to third. But we were just about to say the score 3-1, and Landon Marshall actually happens to wear number 3-1. And so he's trying to change that, though, right here with a runner in scoring position in DeMarte. Pitch misses low for ball 2, 2-0 the count. Meanwhile, the lefty Art Corona Jr. is headed to the bullpen to loosen up. So Charlie Verone's outing may be done after 3 innings. Here's the pitch. Ball 3 again, on the pitch missing low. 3 in a row missing low to Landon Marshall, who you would think would have the take on here. Although Jensen Torres, he doesn't typically always go by the fundamental thing. 3-0? Nowhere near the zone, ball 4. 4-pitch walk drawn. All of a sudden, like we said, really kind of out of nowhere. Pirates, after struggling for the first 3 innings, the first 4 have reached base here in the top of the 4th inning. In fact, entering the inning, 8 in a row had been retired by Carr. And just like that, as we mentioned, 4 in a row reaching. Now, one of them, obviously, on the error, should definitely not have reached. But then, after that, it kind of maybe unsettled the starting pitcher a little bit for the Sliders. As after that, he's thrown 5 pitches. 1 of them hit a batter, and the other 4 were all balls pretty much nowhere near the zone. And up comes Joshua Jones. Jones 0 for 1, lined out to the left fielder. First pitch to Jones, strike 1, 0-1 the count. Well, that's certainly what you wanted to see if you're the Sliders after the mound visit. A little bit more confidence with that last pitch. The 0-1, low and away, ball 1, 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs, top of the 4th inning. Bases loaded. DeMarte's at third, McKenzie at second, and Marshall at first, with Joshua Jones at the plate. You'd wonder, would they consider pitch call to strike 1-2 the count to number 1-2 on the Pirates? I was going to say for a second, you wonder if they would potentially try to either, I don't know if you go to the suicide squeeze or a safety squeeze, but this is a guy who can run like lightning. But obviously with a 2-strike count, they're not going to be able to do that anymore. Ground ball left side, they'll get the easy out at second. DeMarte comes in to score. And so it'll be an RBI, as we mentioned, for Jones. And the score is now 3-2. Meanwhile, the manager for the Sliders appears to be coming out to argue something. Can't imagine as to what it was. There's no way they were going to be able to turn two. As we mentioned, Joshua Jones, one of the speediest runners you'll see out here. Plus, it was kind of a high chopper that maybe, like we said, he was potentially arguing that the runner slid into his man and was trying to petition for inning-ending double play. Jones, he's down to second. The throw is not there in time, and in comes McKenzie to score. It's 3-3. Well, Joshua Jones, we know that guy does not stay put at first very often. And just like that, Pirates have tied it up at 3 apiece in the top of the 4th inning. Catcher O'Reilly throwing down to second base, but the throw was offline to the left side of the infield. Shortstop looked like he had it and was trying to apply the tag to Jones. Pitch misses. Oh, it's called a strike here to Jarrett Anton. And so Jones stayed up on his feet, and I'm not sure if he knew if the guy had it or not. But whatever the case was, Jones ends up safe, and so too does the runner, Brennan McKenzie, who scores. Meanwhile, Anton fouling this one out of play behind the plate, and it remains a no balls and 2-strike count here to Jarrett Anton. Anton at the plate, right on deck. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, right field. Racing after it is Sablock, who makes the catch near the line. Jones trying to tag up, and he will do so. And we talked about that as a speedy runner, as the fly ball did take the right fielder all the way to the line, like we had mentioned, but still not hit too deep. But Jones demonstrating that foot speed. But now Charles Carr with 2 outs. Just have to focus on the hitter at the plate and try to keep this a 3-3 game. Of course, Hayden Wright has other things on his mind. First pitch swinging, fly ball down the third base line in foul territory. Is it playable? No, it's not, as it'll make its way over the first base dugout, and the count will be 0-1 to Hayden Wright. Hayden Wright just batting 184 on the season, but does have 7 RBIs. Of course, there is a man at third right now. Wright looking to bat him in, but he takes a breaking pitch on the outside corner for strike 2. And now he's fallen in a major hole, and will have to choke up on that bat and protect the plate. The 0-2, just off the plate outside for ball 1. 1-2 the count to Hayden Wright. Pirates fell behind 3-0 at the end of 2, and they have tied it up here in the top of the 4th. Breaking pitch in the dirt, and O'Reilly doing a good enough job of blocking it to ensure that the runner Jones couldn't try to matriculate his way home and give the Pirates a 4-3 lead. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of 4. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 3, full count. So after Hayden Wright fell behind 0-2, he's worked his way back in this at-bat and has now seen the count go to full. Payoff pitch, called strike 3. Down goes Wright looking. And the inning has ended, but it was a big inning for the Pirates as they get 3 runs and tie this game up 3 apiece as we head to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
So I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up.
Welcome back as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. 3-3 is the new score. It's a brand new ball game. Pirates in that inning, just one hit. Obviously, the one hit was a big one. It was a triple. But then just sort of manufacturing runs, employing small ball tactics. Here's the pitch from Verone. Low and in. Ball one. 1-0 the count. They got lucky with the error as well. And then a hit batter and a walk. But as we mentioned, the small ball tactics employed when Joshua Jones was at first and tried stealing second. And the throw came to second, and in came McKenzie to score. Joshua Jones is a guy that you will not see caught stealing too often. Although, believe it or not, last night he was. Pitch called to strike on the inside half here to Robert White, who's 0 for 1, with a fly out to the left fielder, Justin Katz. In fact, that was actually yesterday the first time that he was caught stealing all season long. Pitch is low for a ball. And the count is 2-2 to White. White, O'Reilly, and Landis due up for the Sliders in the bottom of the fourth. Low and away for another ball here. And the count has now gone to full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Bottom of 4. It's a Sunset League matchup. Pirates and Sliders doing battle. And the pitch will hit the batter in the hip. That'll be the first base runner for the Sliders in the bottom of the fourth inning. Well, obviously, you never want to be hit by a pitch in general. And then you certainly also never want to be hit by a fastball. And you also never want to be hit on a 3-ball pitch because if you just threw a ball, you would have walked anyways. But all those came through there for White, who now is at first. Meanwhile, J.J. Franklin, the pitching coach, heads out to the mound to talk things over with Charlie Verone. As we mentioned in the previous inning, we did see the lefty Art Corona Jr. warming up down that first base line, but it's not his time yet, as J.J. will head back into the dugout. Corona has gotten his work in, though, as he's no longer warming up down that first base line. Looks like he's just kind of sitting out there with Vargas, the other catcher, as they're taking in the game, talking about maybe what they want to do together when both of them enter. As you know, most of the time the catchers have been splitting time this season. Another bouncer in the dirt, ball one. 1-0 the count to Richie O'Reilly. O'Reilly, no official at bat, drew a walk on 5 pitches in his first plate appearance back in the second inning. Also scored the game's 3rd run. Runner goes. Oh, no, he was bluffing. Throw down at first. Not in time. Snap throw down to first by Marshall. And just narrowly missed getting his man. Maybe the Sliders were trying to play some games there with Marshall. Maybe they were just trying to see what he would do. But Marshall came up and threw a strike to first. Another big secondary lead. Pitch is called to strike at the plate to O'Reilly. O'Reilly, the Georgetown Hoya right-handed hitter, going against the right-handed pitcher, of course, in Charlie Verone. Verone has worked the entire game thus far. He in his 4th inning of work here, checking the runner at first and firing home. Ground ball left side foul, just foul by about 6 inches to a foot. Jonathan DeMarte actually playing in a bit as well, the third baseman. Maybe playing in for the potential sacrifice, which we've seen the Sliders do earlier. But now with the 2-2 count, of course, the sacrifice will be off. So DeMarte will head back to his normal position. 2-2. Fly ball behind the plate and out of play, and the count remains 2-2. 6th pitch of the at-bat to come to Richie O'Reilly. O'Reilly and Landis, then Gray due up here for the Sliders. Verone checking over at first. Comes set. Here's the pitch. It misses low for ball 3. Full count. Well, like we said in the previous inning, the only inning where Verone was able to keep the Sliders off the board, it's been a rocky start, and it's continuing here in the 4th. Hit the first batter, Now a 3-ball count to the second batter. Ground ball to Patron. Patron to first. And the runner is retired. But for the Sliders, they were able to get Robert White to second base because on a full count pitch, White was off with the pitch. So a big moment there for the Sliders to ensure that the runner advanced 90 feet and worked his way into scoring position. And now they have the opportunity with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Mason Landis at the plate to try to regain the lead. Of course, the Sliders taking a 3-0 lead at the end of 2. And the Pirates getting all 4 back in the top of the 4th. Pitch from Verone, low and away, ball 1. 1-0 the count to the El Camino College shortstop, Mason Landis. Landis, in his first plate appearance, laid down a sacrifice bunt to perfection. And the South Bay Sliders ended up being able to manufacture a run just because of that bunt. Low and away, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Once again, Verone falling behind here. But for what it's worth, it's still a 3-3 game. And Verone still trying to, well, maybe pitch one more shutout inning here as he did in the 3rd and keep it that 3-3 game. Verone checks the runner at second, comes home, line drive, left field, right at Katz. Katz makes the play, and that'll be the second out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Those are always the toughest ones to judge as a left fielder, or really as any player. But, specifically the outfielders, because when the ones get hit right at you, you don't really know, should I come in, should I go back? And so it kind of looked out there that he was a little bit unsure of himself, kind of questioning where the ball was going exactly. But obviously it ended up pretty much being hit right at him. I mean, maybe Katz had to make a couple steps in, but that was pretty much it for that second out. Up comes Cameron Gray, the designated hitter. Wild pitch. As we mentioned, not too much foul territory here at El Camino College down the lines and as well as behind the plate. And the ball actually ricocheted back to Marshall. And Landon was thinking about it for a second about whether or not he would throw to third, but made the good decision there and just decided to eat it and decided not to potentially overshoot the head of the third baseman and allow the go-ahead run to come in. The 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1, 1-1 the count. There's a fastball up and in to Cameron Gray. Gray's 1 for 1, singled in the second, stole second, and got as far as third, but didn't come home to score. Little ground ball hit to the pitcher, Verone. Verone to first, and it's going to be a high throw, but the catch was made, and coming down and right on the bag was McKenzie. A little bit of a nerve-wracking moment there for the Pirates, but, well, Cameron Gray didn't seem to be running it out as hard as maybe he could have. As we mentioned, he stole a bag in the previous plate appearance. If he was sprinting full speed, he might have been able to beat it out, and the Sliders might have had a 4-3 lead. But the Pirates get a little bit lucky there, and at the end of 4, it remains a 3-3 ballgame. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the top of the 5th inning here at El Camino College. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us on InlandValleyBaseball.com. 3-3 is the score as we enter the top of the 5th. First pitch missing for ball 1 to Justin Katz. Katz 0 for 1. Flew out to the first baseman. This is a fly ball to center field. Straightaway center at that. Easy play for Barba. And that'll be the first out here in the top of the 5th inning. Of course, we want to thank you and welcome in everybody watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Of course, a big audience in California, as you know. Also, actually an international audience, as we have people watching in France and Spain today. Also, some people out of state in Washington, Virginia, Delaware, and Missouri. This one's lifted up in the infield and caught by the first baseman, Sahajian. So, once again, thank you everybody watching, wherever you may be. But 2 quick outs here for the Pirates in the top of the 5th inning. Back to the top of the lineup we go. Alec Patron to the plate. Patron's hit a couple balls hard, but just right at people. 1-0 the count to Alec Patron. Patron out of Pace University, where he'll be a senior next year. 5'10", 180. Here's the 1-0. Strike one. A 1-1 the count. Hometown of Yorktown, New York. Went to Mahopac High School. Little flare. Is it going to get over the head of the second baseman? Yes, it does. And that might have been the weakest, hit ball that he had today. But that's the one that's going to go down as the base hit. As the other two were just scalding line drives, but right at people. One at the second baseman and the other at the left fielder. So, the baseball gods saying, I guess rewarding Patron just in the sense that, like we said, hitting it a couple times pretty hard. And now with a little flare to shallow right field, gets his first base hit. Here's McKetty. McKetty takes fastball outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. 3-3 is your score. Mario McKetty is 2 for 2 in this game. A single, triple, and a run scored. 2-0 the count to McKetty. McKetty, we mentioned his previous plate appearance from Pittsburgh State. He's a guy that likes having fun for sure. One of the rah-rah guys in the dugout. This one's fouled out of play down the third base line, and the count is now 2-1 to McKetty, the 5'10", 175-pound left-handed hitting first baseman. Here's the pitch. The runner goes, foul back to the screen, and it's now 2-2. McKetty, hometown of Frisco, Texas, went to Frisco Centennial. His major is management. He's hoping to manage this situation here with a 2-ball and 2-strike count in the top of the 5th inning and keep the inning going for the Pirates. Fly ball, shallow left center field. Coming in to make the one-handed grab is Noah Barba. And the side is retired in the top of the 5th inning. We're halfway through this baseball game. Score is 3-3. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Do 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 do.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Styling, wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot, hot damn. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot, hot damn. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot, hot damn. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot, hot damn. And my band bought that money, break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Don't believe
And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the fifth inning. Number 10 hitter in the lineup, Eric Crossman, followed by the top of the order, Noah Barber and Reese Alexades. First pitch outside, ball one. 1-0 the count for Art Corona, the new pitcher. We mentioned we saw him loosening up in the third inning, and here he is entering in the fifth and throwing a couple balls, one low and away, and now one up and in to Eric Crossman. No official at bat for him, but did have the sac fly RBI. Backdoor breaking ball, called strike one. 2-1 the count to Crossman, the second baseman out of Coppin State. 2-1. Off the fist of the bat. And easy play there for McKenzie, who steps on the bag for the 3 unassisted putout. So the hitter was jammed there. As we mentioned, kind of just hitting it off kind of his fist. And the first man is retired in the bottom of the fifth inning. 4 in a row set down by Pirate pitching. Of course, Art Corona is now the new pitcher, as we mentioned, in for Charlie Verone, who worked the first 4. Called strike 1, 0-1 the count, to Noah Barber, who's 0 for 2 in the game. Corona is 6'1", 165. Line drive right field, and that could be, no, it'll just be a single. We're wondering that if it would be an extra base hit just because he cracked it down the right field line. But Hayden Wright did a good job of getting in front of it and making sure that Noah Barber couldn't do anything more than just stay put at first. Corona, as we were beginning to tell you, the 6'1", 165-pound southpaw out of Citrus College, hometown of Claremont, and went to Claremont High School. First pitch inside for ball 1 to Reese Alexades. Alexades has reached both times, once on an infield single and once on an error by the first baseman. Also scored the game's first run. Takes inside, strike 1. 1-1 the count. Last season, Corona pitched for the OC Bucks, which was a program for the Inland Valley Baseball Association, and put up solid numbers in 28 innings. Another backdoor breaking pitch, this one breaking right over the heart of the plate. And it's now 1-2. Struck out 35 last season in those 28 innings of work. So certainly a strikeout pitcher is number 27 on the Pirates. The 1-2 way outside. Ball 2, 2-2 the count. He's actually done a really, really exceptional job as well this season, specifically in conference play, has Art Corona. Here's the pitch. Fly ball out of play over the first base line, or first base dugout, I should say. And so Alexades continuing to fight off some pitches and protect the plate. Like we were talking about in conference play this year, Corona's already thrown 11 innings and has a 2-0 record, and we're just talking about conference play. Fly ball, shallow right field. Actually, it's going to be on the infield dirt. Anton makes the catch about 1 foot back on the outfield grass then, and that'll be the second out here. Thought it would be working its way to shallow right field because Hayden Wright came running in. And obviously didn't travel as far as we originally thought, but the Pirates now with 2 outs and Barba at first. Art Corona checks the runner at first, comes home. The pitch misses outside to Sablak for ball 1. Sablak is 1 for 2, doubled and scored in the first inning. Also struck out in the third inning. Line drive, base hit through the 3-4 hole past the diving second baseman Anton. And so a couple base hits here in the inning. For the South Base Sliders, Barbara is now at second, and Sablak is at first. On the season, Art Corona has tossed 21 innings and 11 strikeouts. 5.9 ERA, though. And really the reason that was because of kind of just one outing he had against the Palm Springs Power. was not exactly the best of outings, to say the least. And he was actually excited originally about the fact that we didn't go, of course, out to Palm Springs to cover it because we had a Bucks game. And obviously Palm Springs is a far drive. Here's the pitch. Called a strike on the outside corner to Jonathan Pasillas. Nothing in one to count. But I said to him, you know the Palm Springs Power do the stats too. And he said, oh, no. And so then, of course, the stats ended up coming in later. And he's like, well, my stats are ruined now. But for what it's worth, Corona has been kind of trimming into that ERA pretty much every outing. Strike 2 called here to Pasillas, and the count is 0-2 with 2 outs. Pasillas 0 for 1. 2 runners on board. Barba had a single, and so too did the man on first, Nick Sablock. Marshall setting up on the outside, and that's exactly where Corona delivers, and the pitch is called ball 1, 1-2 the count. So the catcher and pitcher trying to throw one out of the zone to potentially catch the hitter chasing out of the zone. But Jonathan Pasillas did not bite there. Pasillas wearing the brace on his left ankle with an open stance, digging in, awaiting the 1-2. Pitches in the dirt, ball 2, 2-2 the count. Well, we've mentioned and we've said this all game long. Landon Marshall has been a busy guy behind the plate, and he has blocked a number of pitches in this game and really has done that all season long. Like we said earlier, he is like a red brick wall in that red uniform. Checking back at second is Corona. Here's the 2-2. Fly ball foul, out of play down the first base line. Almost working its way towards the bullpen down the first base line. Meanwhile, at 6:10 Pacific time, we have some of the shade starting to come into effect here down the first base line, as you can, I'm sure, see that on your stream at home. Kind of just the first base line affected a little bit by shade. As you know, no lights here at El Camino College. Meanwhile, Corona off the mound. 3-3 is your score. Bottom of 5. Sliders threatening to retake the lead here with 2 runners on, but the pitcher Corona does have 2 outs. Here's the 2-2. The runner goes. Pitches outside. The throw down to third, not in time. And meanwhile, the runner at first, Savlock, was also able to advance to second. He was not off with the pitch like the runner at second, Barbo was. Big double still there, though, for the Sliders, because now you have 2 runners in scoring position with a full count offering to come. Pasillas, let's see what Corona goes with on the full count pitch. Ground ball fouled down the first base line, and it remains full here for Pasillas and Corona. One of the bigger at-bats of the day. Full count pitch with 2 outs and 2 men in scoring position in the bottom of the 5th inning of a tied 3-3 ball game. Sliders had a 3-0 lead at the end of 2, but the Pirates tied it up in the 4th, getting all 3 runs back in that frame. What can Corona do on the full count pitch? Again fouled out of play by Jonathan Pasillas. Pasillas doing an exceptional job of protecting the plate. He's fouled off a few pitches here now and is now set to see his 8th pitch of the at-bat against Art Corona Jr., who will blink first. Pasillas awaiting the full count offer. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch, grounded, slow roller to Anton. Throw made to first, and the side is retired. Pasillas was trying his best. He was certainly sprinting at full speed down that first base line, but Jared Anton knew he had some time and made the easy play to first, and that'll be it for the 5th inning. At the end of 5, it remains a 3-3 tie at El Camino College. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. Yeah, there's too much confusion. I can't get no relief.
Yeah, I see jokers on my left, beats up on my right. You find me in the middle with I picked a different life. Before my name started trickling inside, but I'm still showing signs all attributed to mine. In the pitch black, it's too cold, I'm all alone. Take me back to the roadside to Rome to get here and I'll hitch back. Get a cab to my mother's house, see my old man and grab a six pack. Tell my brother I love him and give him something that will see him through the hard times. What's a brother for? When I'm sick of this life I see, it has to be my family who lift me off the floor. Make sense of all the madness in a world full of money, full of tears, full of war. I was a plowman, I worked from the earth up. Save your wine for the entrepreneurs.
And welcome back as we head to the top of the sixth inning. 3-3 the score. Heart of the order due up here for the Inland Valley Pirates. That'll be Jonathan DeMarte. And it'll now be Jake Bryant batting in the cleanup spot. So Jake Bryant will come in to replace Brendan McKenzie. And so too should Alberto Vargas come in to replace Landon Marshall. First pitch swinging. High chopper over to the left side. And the throw is not going to be made by the shortstop Landis. Once again, reaching on an error by the shortstop is Jonathan DeMarte for the second time in this game. So for whatever reason, DeMarte a couple ground balls to the shortstop and a couple of times ends up reaching. The first time, though, he had what would have been the RBI ground out, but then also, as we mentioned, ended up reaching as well. Here's Jake Bryant. First plate appearance of the day for Bryant. Pickoff throw to first. Not in time. Jake Bryant, 6'0", 185-pound right-handed hitter. Headed to Redlands University. Takes low for ball one. 1-0 the count to Jake. Jake played for Glendora High School before Redlands. Hit .414 for them in his senior season. Swing and a miss. Snap throw down to first, but not in time. Should be a few changes, as we mentioned, here in this inning. And the sixth inning is when Jensen Torres, the manager for the Pirates, likes to make a few changes. Runner goes. That's DeMarte. The pitch misses in the dirt for a ball. The throw down to second. Oh, the catch couldn't be made by the second baseman. Maybe it bounced, kind of lost sight of it as the umpire stood up to see the play. Kind of obstructed my view. But it looked like it was a good throw from the catcher, O'Reilly. But I guess maybe O'Reilly might have just bounced it there. And so it's a stolen bag for Jonathan DeMarte. And the Pirates now with a man in scoring position and no outs in the top of the sixth inning. Here's the pitch. Called strike two to Bryant. 2-2 the count. Well, in this situation now with a 2-strike count, you want to just try to make a productive out. And what that would be a ground ball to the right side or a fly ball to the right side. But this is a line drive right at the left fielder. And actually he lost it. He couldn't make the play. DeMarte to third, and he's going to come home to score. It's going to be an RBI double for Jake Bryant, 4-3. The Pirates lead. So Jake Bryant getting a break there as the left fielder, Lexades, lost it in the sun. And the Pirates, like we said, they were behind 3-0 at the end of 2. And now here they are in the top of the sixth with a 4-3 lead and trying to extend the margin as up comes for the first time Alberto Vargas. Vargas looking to do just what Bryant did. He sees a man across from him at second base, and all he wants to do is trade places with him, if he can do so. The Pirates will plate another run and take a 5-3 lead. 1-0 the count. Ground ball left side. The shortstop thinking about throwing it to third, and now he has no play. Oh, my goodness. What a miscue there at short. Well, first of all, it was actually a running miscue by the runner at second, Bryant. Oftentimes when a ball gets hit to the left side of the infield and you're at second base, you're supposed to stay put. But maybe it was an alert play by Bryant, knowing that the ball was hit pretty slowly. And he thought it would be tough for the shortstop to be able to field it and throw him out at third. And that's exactly what came to fruition as the shortstop Landis, he had no play to third. And then by the time he looked at first, Vargas was already at the bag. So tough, inning there for Charles Carr, the starting pitcher, who has now been taken out of the game. As we will get a reliever, and we'll fill you in on who that is when we return on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Kids and just forget I ever wrote lyrics.
Welcome back as we remain in the top of the sixth inning. 1 run in already, and the Pirates are looking for more as Joshua Jones comes up against the new pitcher, Matthew Green. Matthew Green in relief of Charles Carr. Green, 6'4", 185-pound right-handed pitcher out of McPherson College in Kansas. A junior to be there. Runner goes. Oh, we're wondering if for a second it might have been a squeeze as Jones showed bunt and the runner at first took off, but it was not because the runner at third, Bryant, stayed put, and obviously Jones as well removed his bat. But now you got 2 runners in scoring position for Joshua Jones, the South Bay Slider infield coming in to play for the play at the plate in a 4-3 ball game. Green comes set. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, deep left center field, and that's going to get to the wall. In comes Bryant to score. Vargas rounding third, come on down, and it is 6-3 Pirates. Pirates, after falling behind 3-0 at the end of 2, have now, in the top of the sixth inning, scored 3 runs and taken a 6-3 lead. And Joshua Jones here today, swinging definitely a good bat. He did have the tough line out to left field, but now, of course, the 2-run double. And the Pirates still no outs here in the top of the sixth inning. So, tough start for Matthew Green. Came in relief of Charles Carr. Pitch misses low for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Green, hometown of Torrance, went to Brethren Christian. Had 15 strikeouts in just 14 innings entering the day. And actually pitched in the Sunset League All-Star game a couple days ago. Meanwhile, we have a new hitter here, Kobe Glass, who swings and misses for a strike here. So Kobe Glass in to replace Jarrett Anton. Well, how about this inning? We talked about some of the replacements or the substitutions in the sixth inning. Each and every one of them has reached base so far, and Glass is trying to keep it going with a fly ball to shallow right field. Catch made by the first baseman, Sahajian. And that'll be the first out here in the top of the sixth inning. So after 4 in a row reach, finally, Matthew Green stops the bleeding for the Sliders and gets the fly out for the first out. It's actually kind of similar to the 3-run fourth inning. In the 3-run fourth inning, the first 5 actually reached base. Here in this 3-run sixth, the first 4 reaching base. On away. Ball 1 to Hayden Wright. Hayden Wright's 0 for 2. Flew out to right field and struck out looking in his second plate appearance. Pirates already with 3 in the inning. Looking for more. It's a comebacker right at Green, and Green has Jones caught off the bag. Jones, is he going to get back to second? No, he's not. The tag tried to be made, and they just barely got the foot. And so Jones is tagged out here. Matthew Green doing a good job of just showing awareness on the comebacker, knowing that it was hit to him so quickly and that maybe potentially he would have the runner off the bag, and he caught Jones. And so Green ends up running Jones back to second, and they end up applying the tag for the second out. Meanwhile, now at first is Hayden Wright, who reaches on the fielder's choice. Justin Katz to the plate. Katz a couple of fly ball outs, one to the first baseman and one to the center fielder. But this one, he takes off, looks like either the arm or the back. And Katz has been hit by a pitch. Katz goes down to first. Wright advances to second. And up comes Quinn Cooper to the plate. Quinn Cooper's 0 for 2. Struck out in the third and flew out in the fifth. O'Reilly will step out to the mound to talk things over here with Matthew Green. Well, for the Pirates, like we said, how this game has changed on a dime. At the end of 2, like we said, they were losing by a score of 3-0. And then they tied it up in the 4th inning. And actually in that inning, they only had 1 hit. And they scored 3 runs. And here in the 6th inning, as this one's fouled right back towards us, 0-1 the count to the hitter Quinn Cooper. And this inning, a couple of extra base hits. There was the RBI double by Jake Bryant and the RBI double by Joshua Jones. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And it's 0-2 to Quinn Cooper. Quinn Cooper out of Walnut High School. Digging in, awaiting the 0-2 offering. Here's the pitch. Low and away for a ball. 1-2 the count. Well, as you know, if you joined us right at 5 o'clock Pacific time, we actually got a 10-minute early start to the game, or maybe a little bit less than 10 minutes, but somewhere in that range, as these two teams were eager to play some sunset baseball. And it's been a relatively quick pace as we're in the top of the 6th inning, a little bit before 6:30 Pacific time. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that'll do it. The side retired, but not before 3 runs come home to score. The first 3 in the inning. Jonathan DeMarte, Jake Bryant, and Alberto Vargas all reach and all ended up scoring. The 2 big hits by Bryant, the RBI double, as well as the 2-run double by Joshua Jones. We're through 5.5. The new score, the Pirates 6 and the Sliders 3. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
You spin my head right round when you go down, down.
You spin my head right around when you go down,
Hey, I got the house with my swagger, hop in there with dough, I got places to go. People to see, time is precious, I look at my Cartier out of control. Just like my mind where I'm going, the women, the shorties know nothing but clothes. No stopping at my Pirelli's on roll. Unlike my jewelry, that's always on roll. I know the storm is coming, my pockets keep telling me it's gonna shower. Call up my homies, it's on and popping the night, cause it's meant to be ours. We keep a fadeaway shot, cause we ballin' this platinum Patron every hour. Look, mama, ow, you just like the flowers. Serve you the truth with all that goody powers. You spin my head right round when you go down, down.
You spin my head right around when you go down,
We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning in a 6-3 ball game. Pirates getting 2 3 spots, one in the 4th and one in the 6th, to take that 6-3 lead after falling behind initially 3-0. And up comes Jake Sahajian. Sahajian with a 2-run triple in the 1st inning. Also flew out to the shortstop in his previous plate appearance. This is a fly ball to deep center field, but Joshua Jones is going to make the easy one-handed grab. Jones catching it over his shoulder for the first out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So for Art Corona, who entered in the 5th, now he is the pitcher of record at the moment for the Pirates, after the Pirates, of course, took the lead here in the top of the 6th inning. Up comes Robert White. White's 0 for 1, flew out to left field and was also hit by a pitch in his second plate appearance. Fastball missing up for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Well, this is sort of the role that Art Corona has relished this season, taking a couple innings or so, 2-3 innings in the middle of the game. And it looks like it's going to be more or less the same here today. We may see another inning after this one, but we do see some action in the bullpen down the first base line as somebody is warming up for the Pirates. Pitch misses low and away for a ball here to Robert White. Here's the pitch. Called the strike on the outside corner from Art Corona. Corona, the lefty, working from the left side of the rubber and actually going to that outside corner a lot against right-handed hitters. 2-2 the count with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Number 6 hitter in the lineup is at the plate. 3-2 the count. Pitch misses low and away for ball 3. Alberto Vargas is the new catcher, as we saw him pinch hit for Landon Marshall in the previous inning. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That'll be the second out. 2 up and 2 down here for Corona in the bottom of the 6th inning. Also into the game now, Kobe Glass. He is at second base, and Jake Bryant is at first base. And that's all the changes we have out there for the Inland Valley Pirates. Here's the pitch. It's that breaking pitch that pretty much starts over the middle of the plate and ends up working its way to the inside corner for strike 1 to Richie O'Reilly. Riley's 0 for 1, did walk and score back in the 2nd inning. 1-1 the count. Pitch misses outside for a ball. Meanwhile, the on-deck hitter, Mason Landis, will retrieve that loose baseball and put it in his back pocket. Sure, he'll end up handing that over to the home plate umpire when he comes up to the batter's box. Meanwhile, here's the 1-1 offering from Corona. Ground ball right side, right at Kobe Glass. Glass has it and makes the throw. Side retired in order by the Pirates in the home half of the 6th inning. At the end of 6, the score remains 6-3, Pirates on top. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screens, but no one seems to hear a thing?
welcome back as we head to the top of the 7th. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. Pirates looking for some more offensive fireworks here in the 7th after getting 3 in the 6th. And now the top of the order is due up here with Alec Patron, who's 1 for 3. First pitch swinging, foul at a pole behind home plate. Meanwhile, Breon Barron has stepped up to the on-deck circle. So Barron will hit in the place of Mario Macchetti. Fly ball to right field, another base hit for Alec Patron. Couple in a row for him. And we talked about in his previous plate appearance, each and every ball he hit today was hit on the line. Before that previous plate appearance, when he ended up getting his first hit, when it was a little fly ball to shallow right field, kind of the blooper variety. But obviously, anytime you get a hit, looks like you cranked it out to the outfield like that last one. Here's Breon Barron for the first time today. Barron entering in Mario Macchetti's spot in the lineup. Macchetti finished the day 2 for 3 with a run scored. Here's the pitch. Bouncer in the dirt. Patron down to second. The throw is in time. Patron thought that, well, the ball got in the dirt, so he thought that potentially he'd be able to find his way to second. But Richie O'Reilly making the nice throw down to second. Meanwhile, Barron remains at the plate. Here's the pitch from Green. Strike called on the inside corner to Breon Barron. Barron 5'10", 190. Kind of does it all for the Pirates, both hitting and pitching. Pitch misses off the plate outside for a ball. Played at San Bernardino Valley this past season. Here's the pitch. Strike 2. Hometown of Hemet and went to Tahquitz High School. Said he actually heard about the team from a couple of players from Hemet who play on the Buccaneers, and Jarrett Vega and Tim Mulvaney. Called strike 3. Down goes Barron. That'll be the second out here in the top of the 7th inning. So we questioned maybe with the top of the lineup up in the top of the 7th inning, would it be another big inning for the Pirates? And right away, Patron lining one to right field for a base hit. But then Patron caught Stilling, and Breon strikes out. And just like that, you got a couple outs pretty quickly for Matthew Green. Swing and a miss at the plate. 0-1 the count to Jonathan DeMarte. Leg kick in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. And it's 0-2 with 2 outs to Jonathan DeMarte. DeMarte, the 6'1", 200-pound right-handed hitter out of Richmond. High and away fastball. And it's 1-2. Hometown of Yorktown Heights, New York. Went to Lakeland High School, where he was twice in all-state selection. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Down he goes. The side retired here by Matthew Green. It's time to stretch at El Camino College in a 6-3 ballgame. Pirates leading. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, 'cause it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Get your programs, peanuts, Cracker Jacks, soda pop. You're out. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and crackers.
strikes, you're out at the old ball game. 4, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, 'cause it's root, root, root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame.
4, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
To the bottom of 7 we go. 6-3 is your score. Pirates on top. There's a new pitcher, the third of the game for the Pirates. It'll be Skylar Bates out of Penn State. So Kyler Bates, the sophomore to be, 6'4", 210-pound right-handed pitcher, hometown of Ossining, New York, high school Kennedy Catholic. So the third New York guy we've seen in here for the Pirates today. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 0-1 the count to Mason Landis. And as you know, we mentioned when DeMarte was at the plate earlier that he, Patron, and of course the pitcher on the mound, Bates, a little flare out to the second baseman, and Glass is not going to be able to handle it. The first base runner reaches here. They kind of all connected with each other and decided to all come out here and stay together out in Claremont. And then they all ended up going out to Northern California for 4th of July weekend, taking some of the sights over there, and also attend a Giants game as well as an A's game. Bates was one of the last guys to join here this season, as he was a mid-season addition and big acquisition for the Pirates. Coming in a big situation here, as we mentioned, in a conference game. 6-3 the score. First man getting on base was Landis, and up comes Cameron Gray. Here's the first pitch to Gray, strike 1. 0-1 the count to Cameron Gray. Bates comes set, foul back, and it's 0-2. Skylar Bates has only thrown 3 innings on the season, but in those 3 innings has 6 strikeout victims with a 1-0 record and 1 save. So those 3 innings have been pretty important innings that he's come in and entered in and pitched in, of course, and this one is no exception here. Maybe a little bit earlier than you would have thought based on the previous outings. But a little snap throw down to first, not in time from Vargas. But we'll see if Jensen Torres, the manager, well, maybe the plan will be to see if Skylar Bates can work the final 3 innings and get potentially the 3-inning save. So we'll keep our eye on that as Bates nods his head in approval at his catcher's signs, comes set and fires. Called strike 3. Down he goes. First out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Manager for the South Bay Sliders can only shake his head in disgust as he was not happy with that previous call by the home plate umpire. Meanwhile, we're going to get a pinch hitter here. It's going to be Philip Olivero, wearing number 36 for the South Bay Sliders. Pitch is inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. So Olivero entering in the final spot in the lineup. Eric Crossman's spot. He was 0 for 1 for the day with a sac fly RBI. Runner goes. Pitch misses low. Throw down to second. Not there. It's been tough for both sides today, trying to throw out base runners. And really, for the Sliders, they've had a number of stolen bags in this game. That's their 5th stolen base of the game. Bates comes set. 2-1 the count to Philip Olivero as time is called for by the catcher. Olivero, 5'11", 175-pound right-handed hitter, headed to West Minnesota Tech. Meanwhile, as you can see, the shade starting to come a little bit more pronounced in the infield here. 3-1 the count. Ball bounced in the dirt to the hitter, Philip Olivero. Olivero at the plate, and then back to the top of the lineup the Sliders go. So the Sliders looking for a big bottom of the 7th inning with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That'll be strike 2 to Olivero. After Olivero, it'll be Noah Barbara, followed by Reese Alexades and Nick Sabla. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. 2 men on now with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning for the Sliders. The only good thing I guess you could take out of that, if you're Bates and the Pirates, is that now you have a force out anywhere. Also, of course, the ability to potentially turn it, 2 and get out of the inning unscathed. But also, you do bring the tying run to the plate now after that walk. Up comes Barba. Barba's 1 for 3, singled in the 5th. He's going to step off the mound. Nobody was covering the runner at second. Mason Landis. Breaking to it late was the second baseman, actually. Here's the pitch from Bates. Little bouncer over towards the second baseman, Glass. Glass, what was he doing? Glass, he saw the guy and could have tagged him, but didn't. And then it was a similar play, actually, to the play for the Sliders. The Sliders had it short, where the runner ran to third, and the shortstop thought about going to third. And then by the time he thought about it, he couldn't throw it to first and get the guy out. And so really a tough play there for Bates, as the same thing kind of happened here, where Kobe Glass, for whatever reason, just didn't go to first in time. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out and an SBL All-Star at the plate in Reese Alexades. Alexades has reached a couple of times, once on a single and once on an error. Bates comes set. Here's the first pitch. Fly ball foul out of play down the first base line, and it's 0-1 to the Pepperdine commit. At third, Mason Landis singled and stole second base, and then ended up getting the third in that previous play, of course. Here's the pitch from Bates. Strike 2, 0-2 the count. At second is Philip Olivero, who came in to pinch hit and drew a walk on a full count offering. And at first was Barba, who reached on that fielder's choice. Bates, the 0-2. Breaking pitch, strike 3 called. Good pitch there for sure for the Pirates, and a big out as well. Because now with 2 outs and the bases loaded, you can play normal depth with all your infielders, as the corner infielders were in on that previous play, looking to maybe play for a play at the plate. Now you can just throw for the force out anywhere. But the number 3 hitter is at the plate in Nick Sabla. So certainly, if you have anybody with the bases loaded, you want your number 3 hitter at the plate. He's 2 for 3 in this game with a double and a single. First pitch, breaking pitch, strike 1. 0-1 the count. And we were talking about with Corona, how the pitches look like they start on the right side and go to the left. Well, it's kind of the reverse for Bates as a right-handed pitcher. His slider is really just starting on the left side of the plate and working its way all the way across to the right. Here's the 0-1. Low and away, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, bottom of 7. Sliders threatening with the bases loaded. Tying run is on board, and you'd say the go-ahead run's actually at the plate. Here's the pitch. Ground ball. The first baseman, Bryant, gloves it, but it's actually called foul. And off the bat, you thought it was going to be potentially an extra base hit for the Sliders, but Bryant actually made a good glove play, and the Sliders actually maybe got a little bit lucky here because Bryant made a great play, as we said, but it's not going to really matter because it was actually foul. And so now, 2-strike pitch to come, a 1-2 pitch to be exact from Bates. So Bates has the opportunity to throw a purpose pitch here. Doesn't like what he sees from his catcher Vargas, actually shaking him off. And now the two agree. Came with the breaking pitch and hit the guy in the back. It's now 6-4 as Sablock takes one for the team and gets an RBI in the process. And in comes Landis to score. Well, that was tough on a 1-2 pitch, and also tough because, well, like we said, Vargas had a different, option in mind, and Bates didn't want to go with it. He wanted to go with his pitch, and then he ends up hitting the batter. Up comes Pasillas. Pasillas, the cleanup hitter with the bases loaded. 6-4 the score, bottom of the 7th inning. 2 outs. First pitch up and in, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Jonathan Pasillas, who's 0 for 2. Did reach on a walk in the 3rd inning. Sliders, they had a 3-0 lead at the end of 2 and then fell behind 6-3. They've gotten one back here in the bottom of the 7th to make it 6-4. 1-0, strike 1. 1-1 the count. As a hitter, probably not a pitch that you want to offer at, though, even though it looked like it was definitely a strike, just not the exact pitch that, like we said, you want to offer at, especially on a first strike. Once again, the pitcher and catcher not necessarily seeing eye to eye here. Here's the 1-1. Up and in, ball 2, 2-1 the count. Meanwhile, we were wondering if Bates would close the final 3 innings out, and that answer was looking to be no, as we see Sean Patton getting up in the bullpen now with Landon Marshall, who, of course, actually started the game as catcher. Here's the 2-1. Fly ball, foul down the third base line and out of play. Justin Katz, the left fielder, was racing after it, but there was certainly no play to be made there. And it's now 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases loaded. Tying runs at scoring position now at second base in the form of Noah Barba. Bates comes set. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And so Skylar Bates actually strikes out the side in the inning, but also allows a run, although you'd say that potentially or really the run may not have been on him if the play just ends up being made by the second baseman. But regardless of what happens, at the end of 7, the Pirates remain ahead by a score of 6-4. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Little boy in a baseball hat stands in the field with his ball and bat. Says, I am the greatest player of them all. Puts his bat on his shoulder and he tosses up his ball. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. Now the little boy doesn't say a word, picks up his ball, he is undeterred.
To the top of 8 we go. 6-4 is the new score. Pirates on top of the Sliders. First pitch, strike 1 at the knees. 0-1 the count to Jake Bryant, who's batting in the cleanup spot. He entered in the 6th inning to replace Brennan McKenzie and promptly had a double. And this is another line drive to left field, another one that the left fielder was struggling with, but at the last second kind of makes a diving grab. And that'll be the first out here in the top of the 8th inning. Very similar, actually, to the one Bryant hit earlier that the left fielder, Alexades, was struggling with. Meanwhile, here comes Vargas for his second plate appearance. Vargas reached on a fielder's choice, stole second, and scored the 3rd run of the 6th inning. Strike 1 called at the plate to the catcher out of Chaffey College. Here's the pitch. Ground ball left side. Easy play for the shortstop Landis, and the throw is made in time. I'll tell you what, Vargas for a catcher, he runs pretty fast, as Landis just barely beat him to the bag. 2 up and 2 down for the Pirates in the top of the 8th inning. Here's Joshua Jones. Jones is 1 for 3 with a double and 2 runs batted in. Also has a stolen base. Jones, 5'9", right-handed hitter out of Lindenwood University in Illinois. Senior to be there. Takes ball 1 low, and the count is 1-0. Jones at the dish. On deck, you have Glass, and like we mentioned in the previous inning, in the bullpen, Sean Patton. We'll see if Skylar Bates comes back out for a second inning of work, though, and maybe Patton will just get to close out the 9th inning. Here's the pitch. Ooh, slow off-speed pitch, missing up and in for a ball to Joshua Jones. Leg kicking the pitch, just off the plate outside. Jones was thinking about it for a second as he kind of fell off the front of his, to the front of his feet. 3-1 the count. Hitter's pitch to come, but it's upstairs for ball 4. 5-pitch walk drawn by Joshua Jones. And for the Pirates, anytime he gets on base, it's a good thing because you know that he's not going to stay put too long at first. And really, you're wondering if the Pirates are going to try to steal here because at worst case scenario, even if he gets stolen, even if he gets caught stealing at second base, well, there was 2 outs and nobody on before the walk. Strike 1 called at the plate on the outside corner, and the count is 0-1 to Kobe Glass, who entered in the 6th inning at second base and flew out to the first baseman in his first at-bat. Glass trying to start a little bit of a 2-out rally. Jones is off, swing and a miss at the plate. The count is 0-2, and they would have had Jones that time, but the catch wasn't made by the second baseman. O'Reilly is really bummed out as O'Reilly made a great throw. But it's going to just go down as another stolen base for Joshua Jones, who now has a couple in the game, adding to his team high of 9 stolen bases. Big play, though, there for the Pirates because now you have a runner in scoring position. Pitch is high and away, ball 1, 1-2 the count for the hitter, Kobe Glass. Glass headed to San Bernardino Valley College. Had a brother, Caden, who played in the SCCBL, which the Bucks are currently playing in. Swing and a miss, 12-6 breaking pitch, and the inning's over. We're now through 7.5. Score stays 6-4. Pirates on top. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com.
Says I am the greatest there has ever been. And he grits his teeth and he tries it again. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down, swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. He makes no excuses, he He shows no fear. He just closes his eyes and listens to the cheers. Little boy, he adjusts his hat, picks up his ball, stares at his bat, says, I am the greatest. The game is on the line, and he gives his all one last time. And the ball goes up like the moon so bright, swings his bat with all his might, and the world's as still can be, and the baseball falls. And that's strike three. Now it's supper time, and his mama calls. Little boy starts home with his bat and ball. Says, I am the greatest. That is a fact, but even I didn't know I could pitch like that. Says, I am the greatest. That is understood, but even I didn't know I could pitch that good.
To the bottom of 8 we go. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. So glad you've joined us on InlandValleyBaseball.com for this Sunset Baseball League matchup, pitting the Inland Valley Pirates taking on the South Bay Sliders. 6-4 is the score as the Pirates send in their fourth pitcher of the game. Charlie Verone starting out the first four. Then it was Art Corona in relief for a couple of innings. Skylar Bates worked the seventh. And here is Patton. So we'll see if the plan is to go with Patton for the final 2 innings. As Sean Patton, usually a guy who starts for the Pirates, but in a relief appearance here today. First pitch from Patton, swing and a miss, strike one, nothing and 1 the count to Jake Sahajian, who is 1 for 3, had the big 2-run triple in the first inning. Sean Patton, 6'4", 190-pound right-handed pitcher out of Cal State East Bay. Breaking pitch fouled out of play, and it's 0-2. Before attending Cal State East Bay, Patton went to Citrus College for a couple of seasons, so Sean will be a senior next year. At Citrus College, did some major work. First team all-conference selection. Threw a lot of innings as well. Over 65 innings pitched, both as a freshman and a sophomore. The 0-2, fastball away, ball 1. 1-2 the count. Hometown of Diamond Bar. Patton attended Diamond Bar High School before Citrus. Doesn't like what he sees. Another shakeoff of a pitcher to the catcher. Breaking pitch. Well, Patton did know what he wanted to throw there, but they say no, he didn't go, and it'll be ball 2. 2-2 the count. Big breaking pitch that kind of dropped off the table. Talk about the 12-6 breaker. Last season for Patton, threw 20 in the third innings with the Pirates. Had a 2-0 record with 1 save, and 24 strikeouts in those 20 in the third innings. Also had a microscopic ERA. Swing and a miss, strike 3, down he goes. And we talked about that microscopic ERA. Had a 1.31 ERA in those 20 and a third innings of work for the Inland Valley Pirates in 2015. This season, before today, had thrown 12 and 2/3 innings for the Pirates, more or less kind of in that same strikeout to innings pitch ratio. Had 12 strikeouts and 12 and 2/3, so now after that 1 out, 13 strikeouts in 13 innings for the season. Late kicking the pitch. Strike 1 called, 0-1 the count. As his breaking pitches are looking pretty good at the moment against these first 2 hitters. Robert White at the plate, 0 for 2. On the season, Patton 0-1 with a 4.26 ERA. Fastball outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count. Sean Patton is actually a third-year member of the Inland Valley Baseball Association. Here's the pitch. Strike 2, 1-2 the count. Although in 2014, if you remember, he only pitched 2/3 of an inning. Actually injured his arm in his first start of the summer. And it wasn't too serious, but it was serious enough to him to decide to basically get rid of the rest of the season, the summer season that is. Swing and a miss, strike 3, 2 up and 2 down via strikeout for Patton. And so Patton has come in and really, against the first 2 batters he faced, mowing them down. Up comes Richie O'Reilly. O'Reilly's 0 for 2, but did reach on a walk in the second and scored the 3rd run of the game for the Sliders. Leg kick on the pitch. Fastball misses low for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Well, it's interesting, like we were saying, just to see Sean Patton here in the 8th inning, because here's the pitch, swing and a miss. The reason it's interesting is because I'm wondering if it means he's not going to start tomorrow, although maybe he's just getting basically a bullpen inning in here, but we certainly figured that he'd be the starter for tomorrow. The 1-1. Called strike 2, 1-2 the count to Richie O'Reilly. And these batters, all 3 of them so far, have been very confused against Sean Patton, to say the least. The 1-2 just misses low for ball 2. 2-2 the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of 8. Pirates leading 6-4. Sean Patton letting out a deep breath before he tosses this fastball high and away for ball 3. And the count is now full. Well, that's the one thing, the one area maybe that he struggled a little bit with over the last couple of seasons. And you can see his strikeout stuff, but also he has the potential to throw some walks. And that will be a walk here. O'Reilly to first base. After Patton was ahead 1-2, Riley takes 3 balls in a row. And now you have the tying run to the plate for the Sliders in Mason Landis. Landis at the plate. He is 1 for 2 in the game, singled and scored in the 7th. Also had a sacrifice in the 2nd inning. Landis having a productive day at the plate for the Sliders. Meanwhile, Patton having to work out of the stretch for the first time. Pickoff throw to first. First base is Richie O'Reilly, the catcher who drew the walk on the full count pitch. At the plate, of course, Landis, as Patton continues to throw over to first. Sean Patton entered here in the 8th inning in relief of Skylar Bates and struck out the first 2 he faced. And then against the 3rd he faced, got ahead 1-2, but ended up losing him to the walk. Little fly ball, foul down the right field line. And the count is 0-1 to Mason Landis. Like we said at the top of the broadcast, each and every Sunset Baseball League game brings a different level of importance than maybe some of the other games, and this one no exception. So Sean Patton on the mound here in the 8th inning. I think probably trying to close it out for the final 2 for Jensen Torres, as there's definitely no movement in the bullpen right now. It's just actually Skylar Bates, who pitched that 7th inning, kind of just working over his arm down the first base line. Patton really focused with the runner at first, swinging a foul tip into the mitt, and it's 0-2. The only reason we say that with a little bit of surprise is just for the fact that O'Reilly is the catcher. So typically, the catcher is not the most fleet of foot, but Patton certainly wanting to keep him at bay at first and make sure he didn't find his way in the scoring position. 2-strike pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3, down he goes. Side is struck out by Sean Patton in the bottom of the 8th inning. And at the end of 8, it remains a 6-4 ball game. You're watching on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll head to the top of the 9th inning. Pirates on top by a score of 6-4. They actually fell behind by a score of 3-0. 2 runs in the first for the Sliders, 1 in the second. Then the Pirates went to work, scoring 3 in the 4th and 6th innings to take that 6-3 lead. And the Sliders got 1 back in the 7th. And so that's where we stand, that 6-4 score. First pitch swinging, Hayden Wright, but right at the second baseman. That'll be the first out here on 1 pitch in the top of the 9th inning. So Wright falls to 0 for 4 on the day, as Justin Katz is also looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2, but he did reach when he was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. This one's low for a ball. And the count is 1-0 to Justin Katz. New pitcher on the mound is Nick Sablock. 6'1", 200-pound left-handed pitcher who actually, if you recall, is batting in the number 3 spot in the lineup for the South Bay Sliders. Here's the pitch. Strike 2. 1-2 the count. Sablock, another one of these juniors to be, who has not found a home for his final 2 years of eligibility yet. Fly ball, straightaway center field. Easy play out there for the second out as Barba makes the catch. And up comes Quinn Cooper. Well, the Pirates were potentially looking for some insurance runs here in the top of the 9th with a 2-run lead, but so far the lefty has come in and held them in check, getting the first 2 to fly out, one really to line out, and the other with the fly ball out to center field. This is the line drive to center field, but once again, center fielder is there, and the side retired in order in pretty quick fashion there. And we will head to the bottom of the ninth inning. The score 6-4. Pirates clinging to a 2-run lead when we return. We'll head to the bottom of the ninth inning. Sean Patton looking to more or less do exactly what he did in the previous inning when he struck out the side. He's working against the left-handed hitter here. First pitch fastball, strike one. 0-1 the count to Andrew Schultz. So Schultz entering in the number 9 spot in the lineup as a pinch hitter here for Cameron Gray. Pitch misses low for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Schultz at a Grinnell College, sophomore to be there, hometown of Pasadena. In a big situation against Sean Patton. Here's the 1-1. Fastball, foul back, and the count is now 1-2 as the on-deck hitter, Olivero, who entered in the 7th inning, picks up that baseball and returns it to his home dugout. Meanwhile, Patton, here comes the 1-2 delivery. Fastball outside, ball 2. 2-2 the count. Patton doing a little bit of a 360 spin after the pitch. Maybe he was frustrated that he didn't throw it as close to the zone as potentially he wanted it to try to make it more or less a purpose pitch to make the hitter go chasing after. Here's the 2-2. Big breaking pitch. A good job there, just getting bat on ball and staying alive to see another pitch, as it was almost really just an excuse me hack, as he knew, Schultz did, that he might be called out on that pitch if he didn't get the bat on the ball, and so he did exactly that. And like we said, that's the name of the game, staying alive. And so he will get to see at least one more pitch right here from Sean Patton. 2-2's up and away, ball 3, full count. I think the last thing you'd want to do if you're the Pirates, just in this situation ahead by 2 runs, is walk the leadoff hitter for a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, you walk the leadoff hitter, it always allows the offense a better chance to score a run in that given inning. But he's not going to do it. It's a fly ball to shallow center field. Is Jones going to get there? Yes, he is. And you know Jones is a very speedy runner out there, covering a lot of ground and making the grab for the first out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. That was actually first one to put the ball in play since Sean Patton entered in the 8th. As you know, struck out the side, but also walked a hitter in that inning. Up comes Philip Olivero, who drew a walk in his previous plate appearance. Leg kick in the pitch, fastball, strike 1. Pepper in the black on the outside corner. And it's 0-1 for Sean Patton. Sean Patton looking for the save here for the Pirates. 0-2 the count. Patton again, a nice breaking pitch. Again, like we said, ever since he's entered in the 8th inning, Sliders really having trouble with his repertoire of pitches. 0-2, fastball blown by the hitter for strike 3. That is the 4th strikeout victim for Sean Patton in just an inning and 2/3 of work. Up comes Noah Barba, the leadoff hitter, who is 1 for 4 on the day, singled in the 5th, and also reached on a fielder's choice in the 7th inning. Patton delivers. Breaking pitch outside, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Here's the 1-0 offering. Inside, ball 2, 2-0 the count. So the hitter ahead here. Noah Barba will look for something to maybe drive on a 2-0 pitch, or maybe they'll have him take. We'll see. The reason you would have him try to take is only because you want to get a base runner, but they may do this. Backhanded grab by Bryant. Patton to first, and he's there in time. The game is over. So Sean Patton bouncing off the mound quick as a cat and heading down the first base line, makes the catch and steps on the bag right before the runner got there. And the Pirates have won, and the Pirates now improve their record to 7-6 in league play and have gotten to over 500, while the Sliders dropped to 3-7. And for the Pirates, another big thing here is even if you end up losing tomorrow, which obviously they're not looking to do that, they're looking to win tomorrow against the Sliders in a game that will be played at 6 o'clock at Cal Poly Pomona. But even if they were to lose, now the Pirates have the tiebreaker in the head-to-head moving forward if that ended up playing any factors in the final standings for the playoffs in the Sunset Baseball League. So that was why that was a big one, if for no other reason, for the Pirates. Anytime you win, it's a big one, though, as the Pirates, like we mentioned, have now won 3 out of 4 against the South Bay Sliders in 2016. The winning pitcher will be Art Corona, who pitched innings 5 and 6 when the Pirates took that 6-3 lead in the 6th inning. The save goes to Sean Patton, who was electric in his 2 innings of work, striking out 4 and really stymieing the opposing offense. Also, a couple big hits in the game. One was a triple by Mario Macchetti that kick-started that 3-run 4th inning. And also, a couple of RBI doubles in the 6th inning, one by Jake Bryant and the other one by Joshua Jones, which was actually a 2-run double. And that'll do it here from El Camino College. The final score, the Pirates 6 and the South Bay Sliders 4. Thank you so much for watching from wherever you may be, and we look forward to seeing you again next time on InlandValleyBaseball.com.